Hello, everybody. EPL is back, and so is SC Playbook for this Game Week 4 preview. My name's Alex Molchanoff. We've got no Daniel Garb today, but former Socceroo, Matty Jurman, still potential Socceroo if Ange comes back into the job. Is that right?
Never know.
On the cards for Nottingham Forest?
Never say
That's
that.
what I've been hearing. Mate, you're in pre-season today, so exciting. Get a game under your belt.
Yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, we played against Wanderers
Pouring rain?
this morning. Just missed the rain, actually.
Okay. Well done.
The ground was nice and wet, so maybe it rained at some stages. But, yeah, it was a good hit out for us. You know, we're going away to Hong Kong next week. So, yeah, it was a good hit out. And, you know, hopefully we can take that confidence into next week.
Now, before we get to you playing, what you're doing with your trades and all that sort of stuff, the big news this week. Ange Postecoglou, Nottingham Forest manager after Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked during the week. You've got to give us your background with Ange. People familiar with football will know, but part of the SC Playbook community may not. And how do you see things lining up there for him? It's a different squad than the one he would probably have chosen to put together, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so to start with, I had Ange in the Young Socceroos. I would have just been around 17 years old then, and he was sort of on his way out of the national teams around that time. But, yeah, we won that tournament in Japan. It was a good experience, and that was when I sort of grew to love him as a manager. And then, yeah, we sort of didn't really see each other. Or, you know, I saw him, obviously, when he was at Brisbane Roar. He got appointed there and did some good things. And then he asked me to join him. So I said, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
That won a 36-game unbeaten run. So I thought, why not get on board and keep the run going?
And then he left, but
he left after we won. Yeah, we won it again. And then he left to go to Melbourne Victory. So. And
then he called you up, gave you your first Socceroo cap as well.
Yeah.
So you've got a long history with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really appreciative to him for the opportunities he gave me. And, you know, now I'm watching him in the EPL and, you know, they're always my second team now. Yeah. So Spurs out, Nottingham in as my second team. And hopefully, they start well with this weekend against Arsenal.
How do you see things going? First, can you give us some background? What kind of manager was Ange to work under? People have seen the background and the rousing speeches. How was he to deal with when you went into camp on a day-to-day basis? Was he someone who was very hands-on with you as players, or was he someone who sat back and basically let you guys do your own thing with the coaching stuff before coming in and, you know, sending you off for lunch?
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of that, in some regards, that old-school manager where he you know, he would have the assistants sort of do most of the training sometimes, and then for the tactics, he'll jump in and, you know, he'll run what he wants, you know, full throttle and make sure everyone, you know, understands what he wants. And then apart from that, you know, apart from the trainings and that, he sort of keeps his distance sort of thing. That doesn't get, you know, too many conversations with him. You know, it can be a bit awkward at times, you know, I don't know if you're sort of on the periphery or that type of thing. Sitting next to him on the plane once as well. But for me, he's one of my favourite managers that I've had, and yeah, his team talks all the time. You know, probably the best team talks I've ever had, and you're just ready to, like, by the time he's finished, like, you still have a couple of hours before the game starts sometimes, and you're just ready to run through a wall for him. You know, and that's just the type of guy he is. You know, every team that he's coached, everyone's said the same things about him. And, yeah, I'm sure now that he's at Nottingham, I'm sure the players will sort of have that idea of him as well and want to win for him. And
what was it that gave you that? It can't just have been the speeches, right? It must have been the detail he was giving you. What makes him a manager that builds this almost cult following? It's not just among fans. You hear players that, and even the way you were speaking about him, Matty, he cultivates this real loyalty to him and a belief in his way of playing football.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to Brisbane and just the aura of him, you know, like everyone just has big respect for him. And he gives you that confidence to play, to make mistakes on the ball, and yeah, just to have a bit of a flair about your game, you know, that confidence, belief in you as an individual, but also as a team, and yeah, he just doesn't really change. I know that a lot of people in England, especially now, they say he doesn't change for Plan B, his tactics and whatnot, but I sort of liked it in that regard as well, because he's saying, like, I don't care who we play next week. We're not going to change. Like, they're going to have to change for us, you know. We're just going to get better and better and better. And, that for me shows the confidence that he has in what we have as a team and as individuals. And you just don't really have to change for each team you're playing against. If you go on a run of 36 games unbeaten, I think they're really got to be the ones that change things. So I can understand some people what they say, especially in England. It's a different league, but at the same time, when you're playing for him, you have that confidence that you're just like never going to lose. That's just the feeling you have under him. Yeah.
Was his a style you think that suited you? That may, or did it improve you as a player? Did it give you the confidence to maybe add strings to your bow you don't think you would have had without him? And the reason I ask that is because he's coming into a team at Forest that's been built to play a certain way, probably counterintuitive to the way that he likes to. Is he going to be able to grow players even of the stature of players like Murillo and Nikola Milenkovic, who we think about playing a certain way? And Chris Wood, who's been doing it for a long, long time, he's not one who harries and hassles. He's sort of just a goal snake. How is he going to be able to mesh this squad to mould it in his image, or is he going to have to adjust?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because, obviously Nottingham have done well in the last couple of years, especially last year. They finished, I think, fifth.
Seventh, yeah.
Oh, was it seventh?
Yeah, they dropped down towards the end, but they were in Champions League for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think that's why the owner really got upset in the end because they missed out on Champions League.
Cash.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting going in because I don't know if this is going to be a point of difference where he has to change to the team that he's come into, and they don't really have time to do what he wants in terms of changing the style of play that he likes to play, being attacking minded and that type of thing. But yeah, I mean he's got a good settled team, especially the defense and the back four was very, very settled, and they don't really have that high line where he usually tries to press and stays up high. So. That'll be interesting for me, like if he does change the way he wants to play. But at the same time, he could improve some of these players, to be honest. Like I never played out from the back once when I was playing at Sydney. It was
long. I remember watching you, Matty. You were a fan of the direct route.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the only way I knew, you know. So when I went to Brisbane, it was like an eye-opener to a whole different world of playing football and just the way he saw the game, and he made sure that when you had the ball, you had options all over the place in all different directions. And if you gave the ball away, he wouldn't look at you why you gave the ball away. You'd look at the reasons why, and it always wouldn't be the person on the ball's fault. So for me, that really opened my eyes in how he analysed the game as well. Because you think, oh no, he's going to kill me in the video session, and then you go to the video session, he's like, you made a mistake, but this is why you made the mistake, because you were hiding, like you didn't want the ball. And I don't know, for me, that was, I really started watching games differently as well, So, it's being a big influence on me and my career. In that regard.
Exciting to see how everything goes. He's got an interesting squad of players. So, reading Vince Frigari's article in the Sydney Morning Herald today about how things are going to line up. So, Morgan Gibbs-White, they've worked hard to retain him. Callum Hudson-Odoi is a sort of player I look at and you go, that's an Ange ball sort of player. Amari Hutchison, Dan and Doy, explosive wingers, guys that are athletic. They've signed Douglas Luiz as well in the transfer window, which I think is another fit given the form he showed at Aston Villa. And then you've got Ola Aina and Nico Williams, who are players that can get forward and fly. For me, it's going to be so interesting to see how he sets up defensively. And now he's got Zinchenko in as well. That's a great point. So, interesting to see. I'm not bringing any Forest players in this week against Arsenal, but it will be so interesting. Australia's got a second team again, which is really, really exciting to have you here with us, Matty, giving us some insights into how you think Ange is going to be assessing things over our summer. Very, very excited to be sitting with you here every week. Yes. And a reminder, SC Playbook League still open. Via Supercoach, $1,000 first prize if you're an SC Playbook subscriber, $500 to the winner, and top subscriber if you're not. So become a subscriber. It costs just $2 a week. It's less than your daily cup of coffee. Gets you access to deep dive articles, access to the WhatsApp community, which is popping off as we get towards Game Week 4, contributor groups. You can trade team advice with other members of the community as well as us when we pop in there. And if you're into your NRL, NFL, cricket as well, reminder, all those branches of Supercoach are amongst the community, and the NBA is getting kicked off very soon as well. So shout out to Timmy Williams and the team who are setting that all up. Head to scplaybook.com.au. and subscribe in the menu. The other one we talked about in terms of transfer news, we'll go through a couple of these, touched on a couple of them with Garby last week, but it's the Liverpool lenses I'll get you to put on now, Matty. Alexander Isak, the signing finally happened, went through the minutiae with it with Daniel Garb last week. How are you seeing him fit into this Liverpool side? The question I asked Garby last week is that going to take any responsibility off Mo Salah? Is he going to become the centrepiece with everybody else working around him, or can you see him entering that side and just being more of an evolution of that front line rather than a complete overhaul of what they're trying to do under Arne Slot?
I sort of, I do see him changing, especially with him coming in. Like if you're spending that much on a striker, it's it's a record, right? So you're not spending that much on a player if you're not trying to change to make him more successful as well. So I think, for Salah, that could be good, but it can also maybe take goals and assist away as well at the same time. But for me, it makes Liverpool stronger, but it'd be interesting to see how they're going to use Isak because, he's going to definitely make that forward line much more powerful. But interesting to see if they actually put him in straight away or if they wait a few weeks because he hasn't played that many games, right? But he played against, I don't know who they played for Sweden, but he played for Sweden over the weekend. So, I mean, it's good for him to get some minutes in. And
he needed them. Ugo Ekitike becomes a question mark now. He's probably going to use a little bit more sparingly. Also might get used in a wide role every now and then, which he did with Eintracht Frankfurt. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out, how it affects Florian Wirtz. I know he's playing a slightly different position. We'll maybe come into the 10 a little more often, but that lineup for Liverpool looks so exciting. The other big one during the window, Eberechi Eze, ending up at Arsenal rather than Tottenham. Another one that has become more of a 10 during his time at Crystal Palace, but going into this Arsenal team, we've talked about how strong their midfield is. Are you seeing him starting straight away on the wing? I think that's how I'm seeing things. Yeah.
I don't see him starting in that 10 role that he's been used of, I think he plays probably on the left, maybe where he cuts in, and then got Calafiori going behind him, overlapping, but yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a interesting signing.
You don't think it fits?
He probably will eventually, but not straight away.
No, okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be... I just think with the wingers and the positions they've taken up there with guys like... Martinelli's the one because Arsenal fans have been so... I don't want to say dogged in their criticism of him, but he's one they pick out when things aren't going right. Yeah. And Eze, I think, will come in and just slip into that role. The other interesting watch will be whether he takes over set pieces whatsoever, because he's got that in his locker, but they've got Odegaard there, who's supposedly coming back from the shoulder injury, played some minutes against Liverpool, and played for Norway in that massive win. Haaland scored just the 5 in that game. I don't know if you saw that.
I think he had 2 or 3, maybe more assists as well.
Yeah, so he's coming in full of confidence. We'll say that much.
Happy with that.
Yeah. Manchester City have a new goalkeeper. This is interesting. We've been talking about the way that Ange sets his teams up, now the way that Pep is setting his team up. Gigi Donnarumma is against everything he's been looking for in a goalkeeper. Tremendous shot stopper. No one is doubting his goalkeeping ability, but not exactly one known for playing out from the back. And after the criticism that James Trafford has copped over the start of this season, Perhaps Pep's seen the same thing and just gone, we need a little bit more stability, maybe a little bit more Route 1 football coming from City as well.
Yeah, maybe you are no more playing out from the back.
I'd be surprised if it goes all together.
Straight to Haaland.
It's been 10 years. It'd be a big change.
It's all out the window.
Yeah. What sort of confidence does that give a defence, is having a goalkeeper like that behind you, who you know is going to come out and try and claim everything? You know, if you give up an opportunity, there's a good chance he'll be able to save you now and then. Does it give you a level of confidence, or is it something you can become complacent about at different times, or is it a mixture?
Being a centre back, I'd love to say, when you've got a goalkeeper behind you who's confident and commands his box and comes out and takes crosses and has a loud voice as well, it changes a lot for you as a centre back, because you know when the ball goes over. Wherever it is, you've got a shout of away or take it, or he's coming out to take it. And for a back four, it's a big difference, to be honest. You have some goalkeepers that don't really command their box, and I feel like Donnarumma's that type of guy that he will want to come here and, make a difference straight away, especially with Man City. They're a big club, and I mean, he's a big keeper as well. So I'm sure he's going to come out here and, like I said, not great with his feet, but in terms of shot stopping, he's right up there, the best in the world at the moment. So.
Trafford owners, I'd be saying trade out. Man City taking on Manchester United this weekend. Very, very exciting. Champions League starting this week as well. So we'll get to see how Pep is going to rotate his team. Pep Lotto begins. City owners, fingers crossed here everywhere except basically Holland, I think. The final one I want to touch on before we get into your team's performance over the weekend, some of the big movers over the last 3 weeks in terms of prices. Kolo Muani to Tottenham. This is going to affect Richarlison's minutes. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Given the Champions League football they've got coming up as well, been super impressed with them as a side, and they've got a really good run of fixtures. I'll give you my tip on who I want people to be starting to look at in terms of getting them in. But how confident are you feeling as a Richarlison owner sitting here on the Wednesday before we get the first team sheet on Saturday late night our time?
Well, did he travel with Brazil? Do you know that?
I'm not sure, but I can find out quickly.
Because for me, if he's got a horrendous injury history, and that's something that I'm sure Tottenham are a bit worried about, and me as an owner, that's something that I'm worried about as well. But yeah, with this new player coming in, I think they're bringing him to play as well, right? Yeah. And he's a top player. He's come from PSG,
Champions League winner.
Yeah, I mean he's come here to play. He's not coming here to play second fiddle. But at the same time, Richarlison's started very, very well. So
substituted today after starting for Brazil. They lost 1-0 in Bolivia.
Oh, no.
Up in the altitude of La Paz. So thankfully he'll be able to breathe a little bit easier when he gets back to England. But I thought Spurs' performance was really interesting off the high against City, and then just dropping back to a level. It was interesting to see. It's not all going to go linearly for Thomas Frank, is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think Tottenham fans are very wary about getting overexcited, especially too early. They've had a good start, but usually that comes crashing down.
Yeah, they're used to it. They're used to it.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting how they go this week. They're playing against West Ham, which is, West Ham had a rocky start as well, but they had a good win last week. So this week should be interesting to see if Tottenham can get back to winning ways or West Ham continue what they've done from last week. So I might hold maybe
for now. We'll get to some of your trade plans a little bit later. You're still sitting top of me, you and Garby at the moment in our little mini league, 286 total. Bit of a down week though, just the 69 points, shake of the head.
Wasn't good.
Salah captaincy. That was his first miss. We talked about it with Garby last week.
Oh, that was that was a bad loss. 1 point.
Tough up against it. I mean, it's not going to get any tougher, is it? In terms of the defences he's coming up against.
Had the VC on Haaland as well, and I think it was one of those nights where it was a late game. I think I fell asleep. If I would have kept awake, might have been different. But to be honest, I've always got confidence in Salah to get points. So that was hopefully a one-off.
A positive. Jack Grealish is looking in very, very good form. So let's get to some of the big movers from the first 3 weeks. Talked on some of the price ranges with Garby last week, but I'll push you on Jack Grealish because you are an owner. 2.8 million up, 6.5 mil. I think he's bedded into that Everton team now, isn't he? And they are looking frighteningly good in attack for a David. I think people forget this about David Moyes because he's built up this, he's the gruff Scotsman and he's been at West Ham and they won that Conference League by sitting in and being defensively stout and using Jared Bowen. But you remember his early iteration Everton teams with Timmy Cahill and Andy Johnson and Marouane Fellaini. They flew forward in numbers.
There was some good years for Everton before, and they've brought him back obviously to try and bring those years. And I think Grealish is definitely amongst everything that happens at Everton at the moment. And I've seen even a lot of people predicting that Everton could be the Nottingham Forest of last year.
Oh, okay. I like that as a take.
So that could be a good shout, but Grealish won't be leaving my team anytime soon.
I think a really good litmus test for them this weekend as well, taking on Aston Villa. So at Bramley Moor Dock. And then there's a Merseyside derby for you to look forward to the week after, Matty. So I know you'll be excited about that. Let's have a go look through some of the players who are most traded in over the first 3 weeks. One of whom you already own in Riccardo Calafiori. Arsenal's defence breached only the once by Liverpool. Stunning free kick, wasn't it, from Dominic Szoboszlai?
Unbelievable.
We'll get actually a little bit to how you think Liverpool are going to line up defensively, because I don't think we'll see him continue at right back. But that Arsenal defence now, so Calafiori goes hand in hand with a conversation about Willy Saliba, who looks like he's going to be out until the next international break. You own Calafiori, I own Saliba. So we can see who's, mixing and matching their team better at the moment. He's
lucky.
But he's gone from strength to strength, hasn't he? He's a threat from set pieces, which is a funny thing to say for a fullback. But then he's bombing forward with Urian Timber. Both of them are looking superb at the moment. Arsenal defenders not going down in value whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about Arsenal. Their goalkeeper and back four
locks.
Yeah, pretty close too, I think, unless an injury happens like the Saliba. But yeah, these guys they're probably up there with the best defence in the league, and they're known for that as well. So you might not always get goals with Arsenal, but you'll get at least some clean sheets,
You spent big there, and I'm looking on enviously as maybe that's something I'll adjust as we get into years and years of doing this Supercoach. Just having that base for you at the back has been tremendously helpful over these early weeks.
You're going to boost?
Going to boost. I am thinking about it.
Yeah,
it's going to be down to what we hear about Jeremy Frimpong. We'll get to that. Okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll hold these trade chat, but I like the way you're thinking. So we've gone through Calafiori, Grealish second most traded in. Lucas Paquetá is making quite a lot of noise across FPL and Supercoach. West Ham off the back of one good performance after 2 shockers. I'm holding off. He was one I was very keen on in pre-season, and the way they started the year and just the balance and the fact there were some cheaper options in midfield, and there are a glut of options making money at the moment in midfield. He's a hold off for me for the moment, but I can see why people are getting excited about him. What do you reckon?
Yeah, for me, I don't think I'm going to go there because, he started the season well, but usually... And
he was I should mention, he was part of that Brazil team that lost in La Paz today as well.
Okay, well, did he start, do you know?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy with that. So,
no.
I'm going to stay clear as well. I think for me, I think he's going to be a bit hit and miss this season, and as West Ham, I think, will be as well. But yeah, if you're going to go down that West Ham... team, I'd probably be looking at him or Jared Bowen. They're the ones that always, everything goes through those two at the moment. So
I think Bowen's going to be in a place at some stage during the season where his price is going to drop markedly. He's going to go through a run of 4 to 6 weeks, and then you might be able to pick him up on the cheap as you get around Christmas time. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on him. Richarlison, we've chatted about. Trevor Chalobah has come into the Chelsea side playing wide. Has returned from time away, I think, in Italy. He's priced around 10 mil, which is a bit steep for me, particularly given João Pedro is the cut price option at the moment. But people are moving for him as well. Senesi's the other one. So Bournemouth, after the questions about the defence early in the season, I've got Durda Petrovic. I'm not going to double down on Bournemouth defenders, but he has made a very good start to this season, and Bournemouth's defence has stood up in some big games. Obviously played Liverpool the first week. It was going to be difficult, but since then they have really looked sturdy. Again, there's cut price options in those defensive positions, but you've got a bit of a pod you're thinking about in terms of bringing in the back line.
Yeah, I think he's one of those players that you don't... Muniz from Crystal Palace.
Muniz, Crystal Palace, yes, we should establish that.
But yeah, for me, I don't think he's going to drop in price anytime soon, and I've got a bit of money in the bank, to be honest. I've got about 8 mil. So,
yeah, great.
I'm looking at upgrading probably cash to him. At the moment, there's no real confidence in Aston Villa. I had to get rid of Watkins last week, which was a good move in the end. But bringing in him, I think he might be my first trade. And then, potentially Richarlison for João Pedro or or Mateta.
So João Pedro, let's get to him. Chelsea talked a little bit about it with Garby last week, but Delap now injured. They don't have a recognised striker, basically, other than Esteval, who Garby's actually quite high on, but is, again, probably more likely to play in a wide position. Pedro, since he's started this season, we should mention, brilliantly with Brighton last year and then dropped off a little bit towards the end of the season, but then joined Chelsea during the Club World Cup, was superb there, and there's a chance Cole Palmer could be back in and around the squad at some stage. If it's not this week against Brentford, it might well be the next week. I think he's one, if you're looking to get rid of a Watkins, a Wirtz, a couple of other underperformers at the moment, then he is one you should be looking at the price point at the moment, because he's going to go from strength to strength. Real goal scorer, will be in the team in different positions, even if someone does come in and hit form. He's going to have to be someone that Chelsea rely on this season, which is going to be good if you're an owner.
Yeah, I think with João Pedro, there's, like you said, there's no real backup for him at the moment, and that's it's pretty safe. He's scoring goals, he's got confidence, and I don't see him really missing out on too much minutes. So usually, I think he plays around 90. So he's always on the field for those late goals or late penalties. With Palmer out, I think he takes him. So, Enzo, actually.
Enzo, he'll be in there. So it might not be that, but I think he's going to get enough from open play.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Agree.
And just a couple of other ones that have been coming in at cut prices. Jaden Anthony, after his performance for Burnley against Manchester United, I'd just be holding there. Although people do jump on these, right? We saw it earlier in the season with Ballard from Sunderland. That didn't end well for people that took that route. Igor Thiago's one I think is more sustainable. We've been high on him the whole way through. Brentford look like Brentford, don't they? They're just going to pick up the results that they need to over the course of the season. He's going to be a big part of it. Big strapping striker. One that really, a bit of a nod back to the old school players.
Strong lad, yeah. You don't want to mess around with him. I think he scores a lot of goals in the box as well. Big box player. But yeah, Brentford for me, they're a bit like West Ham. Bit of going to be hot and cold this season. I think they could be around the relegation zone. So I might stay away from those players too.
There we go. Just a couple of injuries to look out for over the week as well. So Cole Palmer, we've got no further information on him. I don't think we'll get any until that first team list comes in. Willie Saliba, this is a tough one. So Arsenal defender has gone really well. I've been saying I'm trading in Tino Livramento for the last 3 weeks. I am actually going to execute that trade this week. Matty, you'll be glad.
Last week.
No, I pulled out because Maxime de Kuyper and Brighton, I just had second thoughts. I was going into that game thinking, okay, Brighton, I'm going to give them another chance, because went back and watched some of the game from game week 2, and they really were unfortunate. And then the changes from Fabian Hürzeler late in that game against Manchester City. He's an intelligent guy. He's a really foxy manager.
And young as well.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been coaching for that long in terms of comparing him to other coaches, but yeah, he's got that Brighton team playing really well.
The Saliba, sorry, just to bring it back to that point. Have you ever heard, so Mikel Arteta made a really strange comment in the post game about the fact that he'd done it in the warm up, but they named him to play anyway. Like I
did not see that.
I've never heard of a player, particularly this early in the season, someone so key to you picking up something just small. Have you ever had that happen to you during your career, where you had a player go down and you think, oh no, we're still going to try him out? Because it was the same situation essentially as Palmer in the warm up a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I have, but it depends on the injury.
Yeah.
And if it's going to get worse, So I don't know what happened with Saliba. What was it?
It was a hamstring, apparently.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hamstring, you don't really mess around with. Yeah, you don't mess around with that stuff. So, yeah, it's a really odd one, to be honest. Because
sorry, ankle. I'm reading Jeremy Frimpong's rundown here, which just doesn't help me.
Ankle, I mean, if it's, sometimes they strap it up and you can sort of get through it maybe, but with painkillers maybe, but... I mean, that maybe was on
minutes.
Yeah, maybe it was on the player that he was, wanted to take the opportunity to try and play. But usually the medical staff override that decision, and you sort of don't have one to make.
So the mail through now is that he's going to be out until after the next international break in a month's time. So that's really disappointing for Arsenal. I think they've got enough cover there, and you know their structure is so strong that they should be able to get through that with Gabriel. But we see central defenders, how that affects your partnership too, right? It affects the way you play as a centre back.
Well, who's looking at coming in for him? Will Calafiori go to centre back?
That's certainly an option. I think that's probably their best option. We know
so as well,
otherwise they're going to have to move to a back three, and I don't think that's going to happen at the moment. So
what fullback could come in for Calafiori in the left?
Let's have a look through these Arsenal teams. Like, get this up. Don't X out. Oh, it's exited. We'll get back. I'll lead you in on another one, and we'll get back in. Raymond Cherky's got 7 to 8 weeks out as well. After starting for City, obviously it was a little bit disappointing along with Reinders after the performance they put in against Wolves. My thought here is that this is going to open up opportunities for Bernardo Silva and perhaps Phil Foden more consistently in a similar position. I don't know how Pep's going to attack this. I hate to try and read his mind about what he's thinking in terms of bringing players in. But for Church, again, there's just so many quality central midfield options. And now I will put my highly touted Pape Sarr take out there because he's still owned by less than 15% of the Supercoach community. Spurs have a really significantly weaker run of fixtures coming up over the next few weeks. If you have a look at it, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves in the next 3 weeks. I look at that and I just go, there's a chance for points, particularly against West Ham. I think the way he plays, the way Tottenham
and Wolves
are just full of
a couple of weeks as well.
They're full of such athletes. They'll be able to run over them through midfield. You tend to, I don't know. You seeing the same thing as me there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know if he will keep playing though with Xavi Simons coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, I see him sort of maybe being in that role that he's been playing in the attacking third, but I think for now obviously he keeps his spot, but in the next few weeks the teams can obviously change with all the players that have come in late in the transfer window. So yeah, he's someone that I think he can definitely be a point of difference in these next 3 weeks. Brighton's a tougher game, but they've got Wolves and West Ham, and they're games that they're expected to win. So you could see some price rises in Sarr in that time.
Absolutely. And I've just had it through. Ben White would be the clear come in. So that would be
good replacement there.
It's a strong replacement. That's the guy who's been in and around the England squad. I think has been short on minutes actually recently. So
he could end up staying on the left.
Calafiori, yeah. And that would be positive for owners, I think.
Agree.
Martin Odegaard, I've owned him. I'm holding him at the moment. Played off the bench against Liverpool. Has had another week to recover. We're expecting him back into that team, I think, pretty much straight away. Bukayo Saka is going to be a little bit longer out with a hamstring problem. So keep a watch on that. If you've still got him in, I would be suggesting to have a look elsewhere at some of those highly rated midfielders that are around. Right, let's get into it. Nail it down. Matty, what are you looking at in terms of trades going into game week 4?
Okay. For starters, I'll be looking at Matty Cash out, even though I've had him only recently. I'm looking at moving him on to Munoz from Crystal Palace. I think it's an attacking move. I see goals, and they've been very good at, in their structure of keeping clean sheets as well. So I see that with the run coming up that they have been pretty wise.
Yeah,
pretty good.
So just the one this week?
At the moment, that's the only one I'm thinking.
Keep him saved up.
That's the only one I'm thinking. But now just looking at the Tottenham run, those players could stay.
Yeah, it's looking promising for them. What are you thinking? You've got Rodri. You've held him through this little period. He's set for a price jump this week. I think his break even's 2. Okay. So if he gets on the field, he's likely to sit there. You're happy with him. Will you start him this week? I guess is the question.
To be honest, I'm looking at starting King instead.
Okay.
Maybe changing formation and bringing King in because I like. To be honest, he should have had a goal last week. So
should have had a goal.
I'm a bit upset about that, but Yeah, I think Fulham in general just got very unlucky last week.
I said the PGMOL should have given us owners an apology as well as the one they gave Marco Silva after that goal was disallowed last weekend. They've got Leeds United this week, Fulham the week, Brentford, the week after. Both home games at Craven Cottage as well. So
and then Villa. So, I think Fulham players could be interesting because I don't mind the way they play. And Josh King's, seems to be starting every week. So, he plays in that attacking midfield role, and there could be goals and assists coming hopefully this week. Yeah.
So from my perspective, Willie Saliba is out. Tino Livramento is going to come in, and with that little bit of cash I've saved with that trade, that means João Pedro will be coming in for my panic trade. Chris Wood, I am committing to myself, to you, Matty, as my witness. I'm not making any more trades last minute before I've declared them to you and sat on them for at least a week.
Just please do the Livramento one this week.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. I've been talking about it for a whole month. It's going to happen this week. Captaincy plays, what are you thinking? I've got Haaland locked in, Manchester United. Haven't exactly looked, put together defensively in the early stages. And Pape Sarr, I'm going to be struggling to VC loop this week just because of the congested fixtures. I think there's only 2 on the Sunday.
Yeah. I think who my captain's going to be. Got to give him another chance.
Salah. He laid down last week, mate.
He did let me down, but I've spoken to him. He's gonna do me well this week. They're playing against Burnley. Burnley's promoted. They've obviously had a good defence in the championship, but I don't know if he went away with Egypt over the break.
I think he was, yes.
But I think Liverpool should run riot this weekend, I'm hoping. So
here we go. Mohamed Salah coming off a 0-0. Oh, yes, and played. Coming off a 0-0 draw in Burkina Faso. The far-flung places we go. What is it? I'll ask you this while we're talking through this sort of stuff. Farthest-flung place that football has taken you, or might still be taking you, during this ACL2 campaign you're coming up against Macarthur? One without notice.
In this ACL2, we're playing in China against Beijing, in Hong Kong and in Vietnam as well. But I'd probably say the furthest I've gone for a game is Honduras.
Beautiful for the two-legged tie.
Yeah. So that was there was a few flights to get there. Actually, I think I ended up missing one of my flights from Mexico.
Were you with the team, or was this
this was on the way there?
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. And Ange was obviously the coach, and I was shitting myself actually. But in the end, rang the manager. He's like, "Don't worry, I got you on the flight the next morning." There's no other flights that day, so And stressful times. How
are the facilities once you get over to Honduras? I remember watching that grainy, heavy pitch from memory.
Heavy pitch, very heavy, and it was like literally a full stadium as we went out just to see the pitch.
Yeah,
like couldn't hear.
I couldn't
hear like from me to you right now. Wouldn't be able to hear. It was that loud. So that was a pretty good experience, to be honest. We actually weren't allowed out of the hotel,
right?
Because it was quite dangerous. They said so. That was interesting, and there was actually a newspaper article front page. I don't know how many people, millions it was, or how many they're in that country. Let's say 20 million or whatever it is. And I think it said 11 kangaroos. And they showed us the article, and we're like, let's go out there, boys. Let's do it.
So 0-0 draw over there, was that right?
It was, yeah.
Millet scored the hat-trick.
Back
at home.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if they were all pens or one was a free kick.
One was a free kick and 2 penalties, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm sure we'll get shot down in the comments if I'm wrong about that.
I think you're right.
Best audience. Back to captaincy chat. So Salah captain, and who have you got as your backup in case he doesn't turn up?
Let me see who's playing early.
You got a good selection. It's about, I think, 16 teams playing early. It's just the 2 late kickoffs.
You know, I might put it on Munoz.
Yeah, okay.
When I bring him in,
selling in.
Sunderland at home.
Why not?
I think that's a good shout for me.
There we go. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us again. SC Playbook EPL edition. Me, Matty Jurman. Fixtures for the A-League out this week. So you're up in Brisbane first night, which is, I don't know, is it exciting to go back up to Suncorp?
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to play at a former club, you know. Hopefully get a few boos probably as usual.
Fantastic.
But hopefully we get a win up there and start the season positive.
They've had some good crowds in pre-season as well. So hopefully get a couple turning up there at Suncorp. And just quickly, Socceroos win the Soccer Ashes, which is nice. What do you make of the youngsters there? Nesta almost scoring one of the greatest goals in Australian history. It was Charlie Yankos-esque from the free kick, but he did get on the score sheet. Motoroi playing really well. Popper's got this team running the right way,
Yeah, he does. And, there's a lot of young boys that are playing their trade in Europe right now, and now they come into the national team and they've got the opportunities and they've been taking it. So, I mean, it's good to see. I mean, it's good for the young boys' confidence as well that they've come in and at a young age they're getting opportunities and they're taking it. And I mean, Popper must be loving it.
Yeah,
so many options to choose from now, and that's what he wants. He wants hard decisions to pick the starting 11, pick the squad. There's still so many good players that were left out. You got some experienced boys like Juki and that. Still obviously wanting to make that World Cup squad and gone back to their clubs and tried to play as much as possible. So. But yeah, in terms of the games here, I think it was positive to see Motoroi, come in and done a great job. I think he was unlucky not to get a hat trick, just offside. So. But Irakunda, I mean, I played against him at Adelaide, but you just don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that free kick was outrageous. I think seeing Motorei's interview after the game, like he's like, no, please don't embarrass us, and then he goes and does that, and he's like, I expected him to do something like that at the same time, so.
They're not short on confidence, those boys. And this is part of the bonus of qualifying early for the World Cup, is giving these guys a run up for the next 12 months. It's very, very exciting. We're looking forward to that. Coming up in the US, Canada and Mexico. We're looking up to the A-League, but we're most importantly looking up to the EPL this weekend. Game week 4 coming up. We'll be back next week. Don't know if Matty will be here. We'll try and get him in the building back from overseas.
Hong Kong, maybe live stream or something.
That's it. We'll get you in somehow. Daniel Gubb will be back, and we may have that bonus edition that we've been promising as long as I've been promising the Livramento trade. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.